Hey, welcome back to Physio Room. Again, Dr. Andrew Fix here, and what we're going to go over today is the second item in our series here on the Ready to Run checklist. So in the last video, we talked about listening to your body and being aware of what's going on with our body and sort of being the person to hold yourself accountable to what you're feeling. Today, we're going to start talking about the feet. So number 2 is the importance of having mobility and strength in our feet and having our feet face forward. So as you'll see, I'll have my shoes off here in today's video, and that you can see my feet, right? When you get ready to run or when you're doing any type of exercise, what's really important is that your feet are facing forward, okay? So as I sit back down, what I'm going to show you is some of our favorite mobility and sort of movement exercises that you can do with your feet. So again, just to sort of take a step back here, one of the best ways that you can strengthen your feet is simply to spend time without shoes on, right? So if you're in your home or you're on a field, a turf field that you're pretty confident that it's very smooth and you're not going to step on anything sharp or any rocks that are going to injure you, simply spending time without your shoes on is one of the best ways that you can strengthen the muscles and sort of let your foot operate like a foot, the way it was designed to, right? It's going to strengthen your arch. Your toes are going to get to move naturally. Sometimes those shoes that we wear can sort of constrict or hold back our natural motion in our foot. Okay, so if you take your foot, some of the sort of mobility exercises that I like to do while I'm at home or things that I'll recommend our running athletes do is getting those toes in that middle of the foot to move, right? So a lot of times we'll find that runners especially, the foot is really important. That's what you're using to propel yourself forward. It can get pretty rigid and pretty stiff and sometimes too much. So rigidity is good for strength and stability, being springy, but it's not always good for having your foot move naturally. So what I like to do is just tell the person to play around with it, right? So take your foot, stabilize it with one hand, take your other hand, and in this middle of the foot, just sort of twist back and forth, flex it up and down, get that foot moving. And I'll sort of turn this way for you guys so you can see sort of the bottom of my foot here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the toes moving, okay? So I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to, hopefully you have enough space to do this, I'm going to take my hand and put my fingers in between my toes. And this is sometimes a little bit hard. You might have to work to get them in there. And then what you can do is you can take your hand and you can flex those toes up or extend the toes. You can pull them back down, okay? Get those moving around, and I'll show you what that looks like from this view. So again, you're extending the toes up, you're pulling them back down. Hopefully you can see that. And then while your hand's in there, you can sort of get a little twist. Get that moving around, see how it feels. And what I want you to focus on is if you feel a spot that's sort of stiff or stuck, that's the area you want to work on. For running specifically, really important to be able to extend those toes back and pull the toes back to be able to propel yourself forward. Okay, so the reason I brought the bench over here was so that you could see this a little easier. One of the ways I like to make sure that I have plenty of extension in my toes is I like to get back here and sit on my toes, right? Have my toes curled under, sit back on there, and see if the left foot, does that feel the same as the right? Does the right foot feel more stiff? Mine kind of does, okay? So I feel a little bit more stiff in my right big toe, so I know it's maybe important for me to spend a little bit more time loosening that up. Maybe I should have demonstrated in this video with my right foot instead. But you guys, it doesn't have to be more complicated than that, okay? So spend time barefoot. That's going to help you strengthen the muscles and let your foot work the way that it was designed to, okay? I'm not knocking shoes. That's a totally different conversation we can have later, what shoe is right, which one's best for certain people. But when you spend time without them on, your foot gets to work the way it was designed to, okay? In order to get your foot moving and make sure it's moving well, take your hands. If you're sitting there watching a television program, get that foot moving, move those toes, twist them, splay them, spread them apart, twist the foot, bring the toes back and forth, and just see where you feel like you're restricted, where you move well, and get that foot moving, okay? Really important for keeping us running healthy, running strong, and again, running for the long term. Stay tuned for more videos as we go through the remaining 3 through 12 videos of our Ready to Run checklist, and we start checking off more things to make sure you're moving well. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.